All right, welcome. This is Dynasty the podcast show. I am your host, Ira Bush, and this is episode 60. First and foremost, I want to start out by saying thank y'all for listening and tuning in. I appreciate everybody that puts the time out the day to just, at least hear what I have going on, especially, how the first few minutes is basically how I feel about things, what's gonna be going on, what I'll be talking about, a basic rundown. So thank y'all for listening. This is really, like I've been talking. Well, when it comes to media and speaking in public and stuff like this in this forum, I always knew I was going. I didn't know exactly how, but I always knew I was going to be in this type of setting, whether I did it for a career or whether I'm doing it for just because I love to do it. So thank y'all very much for listening and tuning in. Now, it's a lot going on in the political world. Um, I would consider the Epstein file a straw man story, but it's not really a straw man story because it's something that been happened and it's something that's like an ongoing situation. You know, these people have trained people to be just like them. So it's stuff that's happening around the world still in the United States that they have, he and they putting they're putting the person that's able to country involved as well. He was practicing these things that's found in the file. The big thing that's going on is these files have been up for, like, I would say, known to the public. It's been about since COVID. That's one of the reasons why the world shut down as well. They put a bunch of people that's not supposed to be on that file, and they put a lot of they also got a lot of people that is hiding from the truth of their involvement, of their situations, of that whole ordeal, of the escapades going on, why he had to go to prison, the torture and the raping of children and little boys and little girls, enslavement type of situations. This is what's going on America turf. So it's still an issue in all different states, countries, continents. It's a big issue. They're trying to clean it up worldwide. It takes it's going to take strong people to actually change that whole trajectory of what they were doing in the, it really got sophisticated in the 90s. That's why he's like a poster child. It got sophisticated, like, in the 80s. It was coming out of that era where they was changing the rules in the 80s, and then the sophistication of what they were practicing was in the 90s. And then in the 2000s, a lot of stuff, like basically the world stopped again in the 2000s, and it was just that all this stuff play hand in hand of war, enslavement, drugs, power, and it's a big deal. It's gonna always be an ongoing situation. Now we have a lot of people that a lot of popular people are named in these files. Like I said, I spoke on it earlier this week. It might have been earlier this week or late last week, where I just say people be in the wrong place in the wrong time, and that's why they on that file just because they're named. So hopefully the situation gets better for them if they name come out when it's filed. But there's a lot of people that don't want that slander on their face, like that. That smear on their name, because they gotta still take care of their family. They still gotta provide for their family. They still have to protect their generations after them, and even a bit, in their parents and grandparents before them. So that's the biggest problem with that whole situation. It's a lot of, like I tell y'all how the country was built in the Constitution. All those practices start from there, and even beforehand of the Constitution forming, it's a big issue. They really don't want to look the big problem in the mirror, which is systematic, racism and the entitlement. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even talking just like on some white racism. I'm talking about just people feeling entitled. Getting in certain positions and practicing stupidity, basically. So, hopefully everything gets corrected. Now, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna play. I'm not gonna play a cook. There's a big issue in the political world. They put the most important issue late in the evening. It came out there was somebody in a situation where they put in vital information that could hurt the just put us in danger of just the information getting put out to the wrong people could put the whole entire United States in danger, which is what we get back down to just our country. And this is military type of situation. So if we don't speak on these things more, they probably got picked. You know how I go. We once we once that type of um once that type of once that type of the energy of us getting challenged in a military way or putting the whole country in danger. It's supposed to get fixed right away. Not no quick fix, but like retaliation, put a problem and solution in it. Putting a solution to a problem. So hopefully, I'm gonna listen to the clip with y'all, and that's what we're gonna start off with first. And today I had a great day overall in the community. I'm trying to get full time in the community so I can get back to what my ultimate goal is. And I speak on it every so often. I don't really want to continue to say it until I start really putting it. It should be farther along than it is, if I could say it like that. The people that see me working on my ultimate goal, a lot of people that poo-pooed the offer, a lot of people that did not support, a lot of people that did not believe, but that didn't stop me from sharpening my skill set as a mentor, a coach, a teacher, a community leader. That did not deter me, like I said. So we're gonna continue the process. Like I said, I still got my day wasn't perfect. I woke up, I went to sleep in a very positive, mellow mood. It wasn't like all the way up, yesterday I didn't win my basketball game. That was the last regular season basketball game. I was missing a lot of players, but I took a lot from, being, basically being a new coach, a new, people being known in this area is part of coaching. I never would get deterred. I remember being a new football coach and how I had to learn the ropes. And me being in this is not a new area where I stay, but it's a new area as far as the people in the community, me being an outreach to these people and other children, so new children basically. So I think my team gravitated towards me overall. I think towards the end, everybody got to get ready for schools in 2 weeks. I'm a parent as well. I called school board meeting. I popped in on them. They ain't have they look. I called the school board. They had technical difficulties. I don't know. They said they see me on the other side of the a video chat. I ain't see them. So I don't know who I was talking, who I was listening to. And then I ended up missing it because I had a game, that I wanted to go to the Stacey Abrams thing. I had to practice. No little stuff in the community that I would like to do. I still gotta have other obligations. Tonight I'm gonna be out in downtown West Palm. It was a jazz like little free festival in Delray. I couldn't go to that yesterday, but this I'm gonna be out. If I try my best to like be seen, and I ain't really fake about being positive or upbeat. I be chilling. I don't have the energy of spending money or like I said, the type of stuff that went on with my resources and people pocket watching and me. It was a big group. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's normal for other people, but it happened to me. So no, it's definitely gotten better. Today I got a lot of I'm not gonna announce nothing until everything's final, but I'm working towards something very, it's gonna be big if I could get in the door correctly and properly. You know, I'm almost sure I could definitely be, the first step will happen. If I get that next step, I'm gonna be overwhelmed with happiness because it's gonna be putting me right in the it's gonna be putting me right in my zone and preparing me for the biggest goal, and that's having my community centers and being so balanced at fine tuning my craft. It's gonna be right in that zone of me getting back where I was supposed to be before COVID and before any obligations I had as a parent. It's gonna put me right back in that area. So I'm happy about that. It's a big year. I feel like this is a great year. My child is going to be doing something. I know what she's gonna. It's gonna expand her as that star she's already. Like she people gravitate towards her. She's funny. She's outgoing. She takes life serious. She definitely listens well. She tries to bring people together. I'm happy to be her father. And the same goes with my nephew and my niece. They're big people in this world, and we're gonna keep growing. As well as my other nieces and nephews that I don't be around. They're super talented. They're super fun. So it's just that energy of youth that I'm gonna be helping overall in a big way. Them and other children that's not even in my tree of family. So it's gonna be good. We're gonna get back to it. I'm not gonna let nobody deter me that's not on the wavelength they supposed to be. I won't do that. That won't. I gotta step above. I've been working very hard this summer. Speaking things into life, like like seeing it and then it coming to fruition. I've always I never spoke like I used to be more of speaking life into others. Now I'm like this summer I already knew I was going to be talking more about myself and get back on track because I never used to have to say anything. I used to just already was in it. I was already happily doing what I was supposed to be doing. Now I'm expanding it even more. I'm just gonna cross my fingers. I'm gonna talk to my mom tonight. It's gonna be very powerful. Whatever. It don't have to be a lot of words. I just like, because me and my mom have prophetic abilities, very high level. And I'd be mad when she talk negative. I'd be like, "Why? I don't even want to be around you sometimes when you do that." But when me and her see eye to eye on she's a female, so it's very big. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand. Mine is very narrow. It's mine is big, but it's still narrower than hers. You get what I'm saying? So she got children, and she got godchildren. She got nieces and nephews that's like her children, so it's bigger. Her mother's still alive. My grandfather's still alive. She's a very caring person overall. She cared about her friends. People are very hateful. They attack my mom. I talked about this before. I don't know full details. It's just hateful out there in the world that want to be my mother, and I'm gonna speak highly in life into my mom because I know it's still people out there that's jealous and envious. And then as her son, I gotta make sure I speak that power of, you want to go that little woo is big over here too. You know what I'm saying? So it just gotta I gotta make sure I had a uplifting spirit because it's still tough out here. So yeah. But overall, man, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna listen to the clip about it's like the title of it is the Pentagon Watchdog. They got our president that's currently our president of the states. He talks about it not being something that big, so we're gonna listen to it. That's we're gonna see what it's about. And this is a clip from him talking in March, so they playing it back, so it had to be something to it. So let's listen to what he said. Okay, now I love this is some, I learned very early how to decipher when people are. Listen, this is I don't want to tell my secret or how I don't lie. You get what I'm trying to say? I don't lie. I really it's hard for me to lie because like, I talk to my sister and my mom and they'll ask me something that they know is it. So when I was younger, I'll take like food off, we'll eat dinner. And this is my favorite thing. One of my favorite thing was when my mom fried chicken wings. And it was just regular, flour chicken wings. And she'll give me 5, 6 pieces. I'm 8, 9, 7, 6 years old. I'm see 7 pieces, 6, 7 pieces, because she'll give you one before everything's done. So I eat like 5 or 6 more, and then after she the amount it was only three of us her, and the amount was level. It was like me not understanding my mom gotta eat lunch in the next day, and or eat breakfast sometimes before she go to work. She'll cook the whole batch. So I'm going in just being greedy. She didn't mind though, because she'll probably just end up buying bread lunch. But I was just so greedy. So I'll go in and take the food. Mom was like, who ate the chicken? I was like, I don't know. I'm talking about every time. So it's like a habit. Like I'll take like, food, who ate my sister, my little sister, who ate my French fries or something like that. I'm like, I don't know, but so the older I get, though she still get on me about this petty little small stuff. I'm like, Mom, I'm mature enough to not, like tell you straight up, like I did this and I didn't do this. I'm not going on about it. So, I be looking at stuff like that. But this, when I listen to these people, like I said, how the world is constructed, he's like, there's no this, there's no that. This is like, you ever seen repeat? You ever seen when white supremacy or the people who the spokespeople of America. I'm gonna just say the good Uncle Sam. This guy got a American flag hat on, fatigue. He's probably somebody. He's like a person, a liaison to speak for military back and forth. Probably do deals. All this small, all this stuff. I don't know. I don't. He doesn't look like a soldier, so he's just a part of the military part of making business moves. I guess that's what we said. Pentagon inspector, jury, like inspector, whatever he is. So he got y'all heard the same thing I heard. He sent some messages out that shouldn't be exposed. He came out in March saying this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen, this didn't happen. So my thing is, this is basically how this happens all the time in America. We get some old make a, one of those come around and say this is that, and look, and the lying straight through their teeth. Been lying so long, they believe in the lie. You know what I'm saying? They be lying. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even sound like you're telling the truth. There's already evidence that you was lying and that you being untruthful. But they come out with this big old camera show, and they got the 5 soldier salutes out here with the guns in the background, and the guy over here with his hand in the back. They doing all that extra stunting and lying to the people. So, it hinders us as regular civilians or other civilians that we got somebody sitting here speaking in public like this. So, fast forward to July, 4 months later, literally 4 months later, because the first story broke on the 25th. 4 months later, everything's came to fruition that you was lying. Now you gotta do cleanup. Now, but this is an important story. It was important then, it's important now. Now they come out here with neither story is important, but the Epstein happened 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, some people, who. And like I said, I don't know what everybody want to. We got other issues that they don't started 2 months ago. We got a lot going on, so hopefully, man, y'all protect y'all children. Y'all protect y'all. If you got grandparents and mothers and fathers, protect them properly. Keep your head on the swivel. That's what that football term is very important right now. Because people is crashing out about something, man. They can't face the truth. they can't face the fact what it is. You know, they could have passed the baton a long time ago, but it's just like it's going down that rabbit hole of nothing, of disparity, of you know, it's getting real out here. So you know, hopefully things gets, I don't know what to say. It's very important when they start talking Pentagon and 9/11 and you know what I'm saying, like like that's what type of energy that seems like. When y'all remember how much they said the Pentagon and the World Trade Centers when that happened, when they crashed into the buildings, man. So really, they was talking classified this, classified that, classified this. Hopefully, don't have history don't need to repeat itself. I'm hoping no American soil get messed up with the issue. We done help this country, and then the other country got and then they were talking about they still talking about whatever going on in Gaza and all that. It's a lot going on. So it's a lot. I can't report on everything. I'm not directly there. Like I said, hopefully I get to my destination so I can get a little bit more of that intel of not like actually listen, but like direct news, something come out that's powerful. I ain't trying to go dig. I don't have the resources to dig. I just gotta listen to decipher what CNN, MSNBC, sometimes Fox News, depending on if they want to look themselves in the mirror. They even going out, but they say I gotta tell the truth. I want kid. It's real out here. So everything gonna be happening for what it is. Now I'm gonna leave it on that for politics. Yeah, I didn't watch no sports yesterday. I talked about the WNBA. I didn't watch. I didn't think it was gonna be a long show at all. I don't really. It's not much to say, That's really what was important today. Like I talked about, what's going on personally in my life. Too crazy. I had handled some issues today. It went very well. It didn't go perfect how I wanted because it was a lot. It's always something. It's always like I don't figure it out, and I'll be mad at myself because it's mostly how if I get a good sleep, it's like when I wake up. One of my worst things I do is like if I'm in a sleep and then it'd be like packing like I be like on some. That's when I'm like at my I don't know my heightened sense is like full man you remember when in Power of the Shift when they start morphing. That's how I be when I wake up. You wake me up like on some old frantic energy. I do not. I respond in a defensive way. That's not. It's not a. It's like, and it's like it happens to me. I don't know what people know about me, but I try my best not to get in that mode that I don't really need. I wasn't really in that kind of mode, so I'm working on it. And it's the older you get, like I said, I'm gonna say it over because I'm gonna speak it into existence. I just probably need a real girlfriend, wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, a strong woman, like, because that really like helps you wake up and have that. When I was younger, I didn't really. I woke up to, I was good with like texting it. It was positive. It was okay. Like I wasn't in a frantic mood most of the time. It was a lot of lighthearted, energy, good energy when I was younger. When you get a certain maturity, how it be. So yeah, I be looking at it like that. I need to get back into that realm, but and I think it's coming. I think I'm in a real good state of mindset for wise, and everything should work out for me. That's it for me today. I'm not gonna go into no sports, unfortunately. Well, NFL. It's a report. I don't even have a TV right now. But not saying I can't buy one. It just the situation ain't even designed for a TV right now. But we gonna get back to it. I promise. It might be August or September, but we're gonna get there when we able to have a little bit of play a video game, play play the PlayStation, watch the Fox and NFL college. I'm definitely watching college this year. I got a lot. You know, it's gonna be very. You know, it's a lot. You know, I'm gonna be definitely supporting college this year. They still know that I'm gonna reporting on some high level stuff, and you know, it's gonna be good. I'm not mad. As far as me personally, I'm definitely gonna make sure my child. Hopefully, she gets super active in middle school early, and you know, that's really what I'm focused on right now. So, and you know, I should be coaching too. So everything should work out. I'm not really stunning negative things going on. You know, I got to report on what's going on for the young people that's not really in tune with it. You know, they living their life, having a good time. You know, for the majority of the time. You know, so yeah. But y'all talk to y'all later. This is Dynasty the Podcast Show. I'm your host, Ira Bush. And you know, I see y'all. Hopefully we'll get one tomorrow. Cause I ain't finna promise y'all any day I can turn completely into 100% mode right now, the way I'm moving. So I ain't still ain't operating nowhere near 100%, but it can be in a day. It can be in an instant. So you know, we get that good breakthrough. People start using their mind like I'm using mine. We'll get on the same level. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much it. Y'all see it, you know. Stay woke. Stop, just be on. Keep your head up, man. Stay motivated. It's a lot of people that I try to bring you down. Just stay motivated. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see y'all tomorrow or Saturday, whichever one, Monday, depending on how I feel.